This isn't just a bone, it's a story of survival, struggle, and sometimes unthinkable violence. Millions of years ago, our ancestors faced death at every turn, predators, disease, and most shockingly, each other. Today, we're diving into the archaeological clues that reveal humanity's darkest dawn. From crushed skulls to mass graves, these remains whisper truths about who we are. Stay with me, this journey will change how you see our past. Imagine being a young hominin, barely a teenager, foraging for roots in a world ruled by predators. That's the life this skull belonged to. Look at these two holes perfectly spaced like a signature. They match the canines of an ancient leopard. This child didn't just die, it was dragged into a tree, a meal for a beast. The SK54 fossil found in South Africa is a chilling reminder that our ancestors were prey long before they were predators. Leopards, with their stealth and power, shaped our early evolution. My take: these encounters forced our ancestors to band together, to think smarter, to survive. It's why we're social creatures today. Our survival depended on it. But leopards weren't the only threat. 3 million years ago, death came from the skies. This 3-year-old didn't stand a chance. These marks, they're from an eagle's talons. Birds of prey were snatching our young, just like they do with modern primates. It's a brutal wake-up call. Our ancestors were vulnerable from every angle. The Tong child's fate shows how predation drove evolutionary changes. Heightened awareness, group living, maybe even crude tools. These were our defenses. I find it humbling to think that our intelligence, our communities were forged in fear. It makes you wonder, are we still shaped by those ancient instincts? Fast forward to 10,000 years ago. Predators were no longer our biggest threat. Here at Nataruk, we found something horrifying. 27 people, men, women, children, slaughtered. Skulls, crushed limbs, broken arrows in their bones. One man had this blade lodged in his head. A pregnant woman. Her hands were bound before she died. The Nataruk discovery, published in 2016, shattered the myth that hunter-gatherers lived peaceful lives. These weren't farmers fighting over land, they were nomads, yet they planned this attack with arrows and clubs. My theory: this violence wasn't just about resources like water or fish. It was about identity, about us versus them. That tribal instinct, it's still in us, isn't it? Think about modern conflicts. Are we really so different? Let me tell you about a modern parallel. In the Amazon, uncontacted tribes sometimes clash over territory. In 2017, reports emerged of a remote tribe in Brazil attacking another group, leaving bodies unburied, much like Nataruk. The reason's competition for hunting grounds. It's eerie how history repeats itself. This cemetery, 13th and 400 years old, holds 61 skeletons. At first, we thought it was one big battle. But look closer, some bones have healed fractures, others fresh wounds. These people didn't die in one attack. They lived through raids, ambushes, over and over until death caught up. The 2021 reanalysis of Jebel Sahaba, published in Scientific Reports, paints a picture of relentless conflict. Climate change at the end of the Ice Age likely made resources scarce, turning neighbors into enemies. What strikes me is the resilience of these people. They survived attacks, healed, and kept going only to face more violence. It's a testament to human endurance, but also a warning: scarcity can turn us against each other. I once met a woman named Amina, a refugee from South Sudan. She told me how her village was raided multiple times by rival groups fighting over grazing land. Each time they rebuilt, but the fear never left. Amina's story echoes Jebel Sahaba centuries apart, yet the same human struggle. It makes these bones feel less like relics and more like mirrors. In 1325 CE, this village was a thriving community protected by a ditch. But one day, attackers breached it. We found 486 skeletons, men, women, children, scalped, dismembered, left in the dirt. This wasn't just a fight, it was annihilation. Crow Creek, excavated in 1978, is one of North America's deadliest prehistoric massacres. The fortification ditch tells us these people knew an attack was possible, yet they couldn't stop it. I believe this was about more than territory. It was about sending a message. Destroying an entire village says we're in control. It's chilling to think how power dynamics shaped even prehistoric societies. Think of the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Entire communities were wiped out to assert dominance to erase the other. Crow Creek feels like an ancient echo of that mindset. It's a reminder that dehumanizing others can lead to unimaginable cruelty. 7,000 years ago, 9 people, mostly young men, were brought here as captives. They weren't killed in battle. They were subdued, possibly bound, and executed with blows to the back of the head. Then their bodies were dumped in a pit. This wasn't chaos. This was calculated. The Halberstadt site studied in 2018 shows the earliest evidence of systematic execution. These weren't locals, they were outsiders, likely prisoners from another region. To me, this suggests a society with rules, maybe even a sense of justice or ritual. But it also shows how quickly humans learn to organize violence. It's both impressive and terrifying. In 2015, I visited a museum in Peru displaying Inca sacrificial remains. Children chosen for their purity were ritually killed to appease gods. Like Halberstadt, it was controlled, purposeful. It makes you question, when does ritual become cruelty? Where's the line? This man, Shenadar I, was blind in one eye, had a withered arm and arthritis. Yet he lived for years. His community cared for him, buried him with care. Not every story is about violence. Some are about love. Shenadar I's survival shows that compassion existed even in brutal times. I think this challenges the stereotype of Neanderthals as savage. They were human with empathy. It's a reminder that our capacity for care is as ancient as our capacity for violence. Then there's a Homo heidelbergensis from Zambia 400,000 years ago who died from tooth decay so severe it reached the jawbone. Or KNMER 1808, a woman from 1.7 million years ago, whose bones suggest vitamin A poisoning, maybe from eating a predator's liver. These stories remind us that disease and accidents were as deadly as any arrow. My grandfather suffered from chronic pain after a farming accident, yet our family rallied around him. Seeing Shenadar I's injuries, I imagine a prehistoric family doing the same. It's a thread that connects us across millennia. These bones, these wounds, they're more than relics. They're a mirror. They show us that violence, compassion, struggle, and survival are woven into our DNA. From Nataruk to Crow Creek, from Shenadar to Halberstadt, our ancestors faced the same questions we do. How do we live together? How do we survive the worst of ourselves? The lesson here is clear. Our past teaches us that conflict often comes from scarcity or division, but our survival depends on connection. We're at our best when we care for each other, like Shenadar's community did. So let's ask ourselves, in our modern world, are we building walls or bridges? The choice is ours, just as it was theirs.